morning and welcome to our employer highlight series today, featuring FedEx Ground. And with me today, I have Abby Garrison, who is a talent acquisition coordinator. How are you today, Abby?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing very well, thank you. For those of you that aren't aware, we do our employer highlight series every other week. It's a bi-weekly event where we talk to one of our great local employer partners to really help everyone understand the corporate culture, the professional development, the benefits, and the open positions that they have right now. And so that's the conversation we're going to have with Abby today around FedEx Ground. Abby, I think that the thing that I'd like to start with for you is probably just understanding, a little of the background around FedEx Ground. When we hear of FedEx, it's this huge, huge corporate entity, but maybe you can put a little more framework around the FedEx Ground portion of the business and everything.
Yeah, so FedEx is basically just the big umbrella, right? And then under the big umbrella, there's a lot of different opcos. So there's FedEx Express, FedEx Ground, which I'm a part of. There's also FedEx Office, FedEx Freight. So I'm a part of the ground portion, and we do a lot of our package handlers anyway, do a lot of like hands-on loading and unloading trailers, and the warehouse specifically is what their function is. And those are the types of people I hire. I hire package handlers.
Awesome. And your facility is located where?
We have quite a few facilities in the central district. I'm a part of the Groveport branch. I also have locations in Grove City, up in Plain City, Whitehall. So there's quite a few. We have a new branch over in Etna. There's a lot of options out there.
Yeah, I actually drove by the new Etna facility. It's
cool, right?
really, really quick, and it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think, one of the reasons that I was excited to have FedEx Ground be a part of our conversation today is the stability of the organization, obviously the size, and how it can offer a lot of different opportunities for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little about the culture of like a day in the life at FedEx Ground. What type of culture does someone experience while they work there?
Yeah, FedEx is part of the rapidly growing transportation sector, and that just keeps America and our economy moving. So we are a very safety first culture. If you can't come to work and be safe, then that's just not a good thing. So safety is the number one priority for anyone and everyone on our dock, not only on our dock, but also our operations partners, our HR partners. Safety is the biggest and most important thing at FedEx Ground. First, we want you to be safe. Then we want you to, do well and perform well at your job. And that then drives service. And that's how we get people their packages on time.
That absolutely makes sense for sure. And, I think that a lot of times we don't always think of safety as being one of the super important elements of a culture of a business. But obviously with all the moving parts that you guys have, that really comes into play in a big, big way.
Right.
So knowing that you're keeping everybody safe, that you have that really open and welcoming type of environment, let's talk a little about growth opportunities. I think for a lot of individuals, they may be changing career paths, that type of thing, and we want to really start to figure out how, if they come in as a warehouse package handler, what are their options with FedEx Ground, and how could they maybe advance their career with the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we built a career program at FedEx called Purple Pathways, and Purple Pathways provides our team members access to resources and information about different careers at FedEx Ground. For example, I started as a package handler back in, goodness gracious, was that 2016? And I made my way into operations, and operations partners, they just keep the boxes moving throughout the facility. So I was a manager there for a long time. Then I went over to human resources. So there's a lot of different career paths you can go within FedEx Ground. Like I said, human resources, also operations, and then there's also maintenance, and then there's safety positions as well, because again, we're very focused on safety at FedEx Ground.
Yeah, so that's awesome to know that you've kind of come up through the ranks, so to speak, yourself, and that you can definitely, if somebody comes in when they talk to you, really understand kind of how that progression can happen. And it
Right.
sounds like it's happened pretty quick for you too. I mean, you've been there what, 5 or 6 years now?
Yeah, it'll be 7 years or 8 years. It kind of blurs together. 7 or 8 years in October. But yeah, that's pretty good turnaround time, I'd say. I've had like 4 or 5 different jobs since I started. So, and it just keeps moving up.
Well, and then you don't get bored, right? Because
Yeah,
that's the other thing about it. You're always
certainly
learning
not.
something new, doing something different that way for sure.
Right.
So it sounds like there are a lot of great growth opportunities once somebody gets in the door, which I think is really, really important. Um, but then more importantly, let's talk about benefits for a little bit as well. I know from our discussion, there are some both full-time and part-time opportunities with FedEx Ground. So let's kind of talk about the benefits and how it applies to both of those positions.
Right. Yeah. So a lot of people start with FedEx Ground because we offer great benefits. We have your medical, dental, and vision insurance. And if you start out as a part-time package handler, you earn your medical, dental, and vision insurance after you work 90 days. If you come in and you elect full-time as a package handler, day one, you are eligible for all of those benefits, which is a really huge deal. Um, Outside of your medical, dental, and vision insurance, we have the employee assistance program, which I have utilized before. It just helps people get connected with counselors if they so need it. There's childcare options in there. Going off of childcare, we also offer paid parental leave. So that's a good benefit, especially if you're welcoming a new human being into your life. And yeah, another big one I'd like to talk about is our tuition reimbursement program. Day one, you are eligible for tuition reimbursement, and you're eligible for $5,250 a year. And that's both part-time and full-time employees. And that's something I still utilize to this day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Are there any specific like lines of education that you have to stay within or anything to utilize that benefit?
I'm sorry, could you ask that one more time?
Yeah, is there any particular like type of study that you have to do? Is it you have to study certain things, or is it
No.
open?
So as long as the school you are going to is accredited, you are eligible to use that tuition reimbursement. So you can go to school for whatever you want.
That is phenomenal, and
Yeah.
for that amount of benefit as well. I mean, it's that is a huge benefit on top of salary for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, awesome. So we've kind of talked about benefits and everything. Let's talk about the hiring process a little bit as well.
Okay.
If somebody wants to apply with FedEx Ground, and we'll talk in a minute about the specific event that we're going to do here at the Job Center later this week. But just in general, how does somebody apply? What is that whole like hiring process like?
Yeah. So if you wanted to apply as a package handler, you would just go to groundwarehousejobs.fedex.com, and we have the link for you if you do need that. So you just get on there and you apply, and it's all online. So even your interview is virtual. It's either over text message or through email. The first phone call you will ever get from us is to start your first day of work. So the entire application process, background check process, that's done online. You can do it on your phone. We've really streamlined that process since since I started in human resources a few years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing what a pandemic will do for all of those processes, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Definitely,
sure.
we've experienced the same thing. Now you mentioned background checks, so let's talk about that just for a second. I'm asking and not making an assumption. Do you guys do any type of drug screen, and kind of what does the background check entail, and how does that impact employment decisions?
So we actually don't drug screen for the package handler position. As far as the background check process goes, everyone who applies is required to authorize and undergo a criminal background check. And entry-level package handler positions don't require a drug test, like I said. As far as the criminal background check and what constitutes a yes or a no for employment, I'm not sure about the entire ins and out of that, just because our background check is processed through a third party company. What I will say though is if you do want the job, our application process is so simple and so streamlined. If you are questioning whether or not you'll be able to get the job, I say, apply. And the worst thing we could tell you is no. Yeah.
Yeah, always good to take that leap of faith and make the effort for sure.
Right.
It definitely sounds though like you guys look at things more on case by case and really look at situations and that type of thing, which is always good as well.
Yes. Yeah, I know they definitely do that. I just don't know the ins and outs of it because it's the third party.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So before we talk a little more specifically about the warehouse package handler position, I do want to mention to everybody that we are excited to have your team here this Thursday at our job center at 11 a.m. So even though you've talked about how streamlined the application process can be, there are some folks who like to actually talk to somebody as they start the process. And so
Absolutely, yes.
if somebody wants to register for our Thursday with an employer for this Thursday, July 14th at 11 a.m., you can actually come in and meet with Abby and the team from FedEx, have more discussion around benefits and that type of thing, and start the application process here in the center. I always advocate getting to know somebody because you build that network, and it really kind of helps you through the process. So I think it's a great chance to get to know the hiring team and really start connecting with some of the HR partners there for sure.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you can call us at 614-559-5052 or visit the URL that's on the screen right now. Okay, so let's talk specifically about the warehouse package handler position. Like what does the job specifically entail? What is a day in the life of? What does that feel like for somebody?
So I imagine people who get hired and start work at FedEx, they're either going to be loading trailers or unloading trailers. So as far as that goes, they're just pushing, lifting, shoving packages, just into trailers and out of trailers. It's a very physical job. So if you apply and you get the job, you can go ahead and cancel your gym membership because you are essentially getting paid to squat over and over again for 3 to 5 hours. I know that sounds daunting, but we do have trainers that facilitate the process with new people, and they make sure that they're okay. Again, safety being our number one priority, we make sure our people are safe. It's very easy to lift a box improperly and hurt yourself when you don't know what you're doing. So we have trainers that are with you for your first 3 weeks of employment at least, to help you learn how to lift and move packages in a safe and efficient manner.
And I think it's interesting. I love how you phrase that, because just the act of doing it doesn't make it efficient. And
Right.
Obviously there are specific ways to do it to keep yourself safe so that you don't have an injury, you don't wear yourself out too quickly. So it sounds like you guys have thought of all of that.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. Are there any other things that you want to lift up around the package handler position that our viewership should know right now?
No, I think I pretty much touched on everything.
Awesome. Let's talk a little about wage.
Okay.
We haven't talked about that. So if somebody's interested in becoming one of those warehouse package handlers, what is the range of pay for the position?
$16 to $20 an hour, depending on the location you want to work at.
And different shifts that are
yep.
available. Yeah.
So if you choose to work the overnight, you will be getting an extra dollar based on like the base rate of that location. So that, yeah, they do incentivize individuals who would work the overnight for them.
And overnight starts at what time?
Around 10:30 p.m., 11 p.m., and it goes until about like the early morning time. So your typical graveyard shift.
Okay, perfect. And do you also have first and second shift positions available right now?
I do. I have primarily second shift. We do have some first shift opportunities, but that's more towards our peak season. So October, November, December, that's when you'll see those morning sorts open up. Typically, we are a second and third shift company.
Yeah, no, perfect. So as we mentioned, Abby and the team will be here with FedEx Ground in our job center this Thursday at 11 a.m. for a Thursday with an employer. So if you or someone you know has an interest in working for FedEx Ground as a warehouse package handler, we would really encourage you to register for our Thursday. You can either do it at the URL that is on the screen, or you can give us a call at 614-559-5052. We think it's a great opportunity and obviously a great employer. That's why we wanted to lift you guys up in this employer highlight series this morning. Any other words of wisdom in general about FedEx Ground and this opportunity?
Yeah, I'll just take it back to what one of my good friends told me when I first started off as a package handler. FedEx is a place that values hard work and punctuality. So as long as you're willing to show up on time and try your best every day, don't get discouraged, because you will get better. And I really do believe you will love your job. If you can put in your best effort in the beginning, you can turn FedEx into whatever you want it to be.
That is absolutely awesome, and like a perfect way to wrap up the conversation for sure. So thank you everybody for joining us. Again, my name is Scott Johnson. I'm the Job Center operator here at the Ohio Men's Jobs Columbus Franklin County Job Center. We have Abby Garrison, who is one of the talent acquisition coordinators for FedEx Ground. We appreciate you joining us today, and hopefully we'll see you at the Job Center on Thursday for our Thursday with an employer. You can register at the URL that's on the screen, or again, just call us at 614-559-5052. Abby, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Everybody have a great day. Thank you.